Hey guys, it's Liv here, and in today's video, we're going to be using a team that just won a major VGC tournament with Sandy Shocks. If you guys enjoyed and you want to see more, leave a like and subscribe, and answer the comment question of the day. What Paradox Pokemon do you think you've been the most surprised about so far in the ladder? I understand that a lot of you guys probably haven't been playing a ton of the ladder yet, but even still, it can also just be from tournament results, really from anything at all. What Paradox Pokemon are you just the most surprised about? Mine definitely has to be Sandy Shocks. I can't lie, I expected this thing to be one of the worst going to this, but this thing has gotten a lot of results in this series, and I want to go over that and I want to showcase it. So with that said, let's get started. I do also have to preface one more thing. While this is modeled after the exact team that did win I think it was the Durand's tournament. It was week 7 of the Durand's tourney. Yep. This ended up actually being slightly modified, but all of the modifications are still based on notes that the original creator did leave in their Twitter post, which I'm actually just going to link that whole post down below because I think it was very helpful. It goes through with a couple things that they wish they did differently on their run and things that they know now. So with that said, let's get started. First thing, of course, is we do have the Timid Specs Fluttermane. Now, this Fluttermane is designed to creep for Roaring Moon that is max speed. I figure this would be a valuable creep, of course, for things such as potentially attack boosting, boost energy sets, or even just Roaring Moon. We also have the Sun up, which could be valuable. While this isn't necessarily a Sun team, there are a lot of instances where we might end up fighting Torkoal potentially, especially before we get into the really high portion of the ladder. I did want to be prepared for this, but even still, it's just a valuable creep. Creeping Roaring Moon is a really good Pokemon because typically it could Terra, but we have both Power Gem and Moonblast to account for that. Gleam also just KOs. This does also happen to creep perfectly for stuff like Modest Fluttermane, which just hit 187 speed, and we hit 189 with this. The investment goes into the Phys Def side, just because it is our weaker defensive stat, and that's originally the speed was a little bit higher. I think it was for Talonflame, and it had 68 Phys Def, so I just threw the rest of the EVs remaining into here. Terra Fairy is going to be boosting our primary offensive options, being Moonblast and Dazzling Gleam, as an offensive spread Fairy type is honestly really amazing. As I mentioned yesterday, the Specs Terra Fairy set can literally outdamage Xerneas, which is incredible, like Geomancy Xerneas. So this Pokemon overall is just a huge threat to the tier. Up next, we do have Maushold. With the Mental Herb, this is able to get around stuff like taunts, which is really useful, or just any sort of shenaniganry that would otherwise stop us from doing our support stuff. We have Taunt and Follow Me, which are great support options here, with Helping Hand being a great way to assist damage on stuff like Fluttermane, Sandy Shocks, etc. Meanwhile, our fourth move is Feint, and while some people might be wondering, where's Population Bomb? Isn't this a Maushold? Isn't that the one thing it's good for? I would argue it's not. Feint actually is a really good option on this Pokemon because typically there have been a lot of Sash Iron bundles running around. And with Feint on the Protect turn where they might try and preserve their Iron Bundle while they take out your partner Fluttermane with their partner Pokemon, you can actually go for Feint and completely massacre their Iron Bundle, which is really huge actually because Iron Bundle is considered one of the best speed control Pokemon right now. So having Feint on this is actually really useful as it is a +3 priority hit and it does break Protect. With the speed, we are creeping for Modest Volcarona here, which is probably one of the most noteworthy Pokemon this would actually have to creep. While Sandy Shocks is running around and they are potentially running both Timid and Modest, it's not nearly as common as Volcarona, with Volcarona having pretty much triple the usage, so only having to really creep Volcarona is, in my opinion, worthwhile, especially when we compare other tournament results. We do have Sandy Shocks up next with the Terrestrial Grass. This is designed to defensively help Sandy Shocks as it does clear the weakness to Earthquake. With the Modest nature, we're able to boost our special attack as much as possible to help this thing break. In tandem with boost energy, this is actually a really amazing offensive threat. This is one of the changes that the creator did mention. They wanted to change out Terra Blast Grass for Substitute, which honestly, I found this to be a pretty helpful change, especially in a lot of scenarios when leading with Talonflame. You could potentially make an opponent want to target into Talonflame first, as it is a really good speed control option for this team, and then you could typically get up a free Substitute, which should help a lot with this Pokemon dealing more damage. With the offensive coverage of Thunderbolt and Earth Power, you hit a lot of things really well, so this is overall just a really good option. We have Talonflame up next with a Life Orb, where Terra Flying Talonflame with Tailwind, Protect, Flare Blitz, and Brave Bird. Honestly, it's just standard Talonflame, but instead of Covert Cloak, you run Life Orb, which is a little bit better for damaging stuff like Volcarona, Terra Grass Pokemon like Iron Hands, etc., etc. The format got a lot bulkier, so in general, just having Talonflame with a Life Orb does help a bit. You can still switch this for Covert Cloak, which is still very useful, but I do want to try this with Life Orb because it's what the creator did intend to run with this Mon. We have Indeedee up next with the Psychic Surge. Now, Psychic Surge is really good because it helps stop incoming priority, which is great for stuff like Sucker Punch into our Fluttermane or other priority that we might take, such as Fake Out. We have Trick Room, which is great as it does help with Imprison to stop other opposing Indeedee from getting us up. And we have 12 speed, which is just to help outpace Comet and DD, as they don't really run anything more than 4, if any speed at all. With Psychic, just a primary stab, and then Follow Me, it's another redirection option here. Terra Grass is really just because a lot of the hits we'd be redirecting would most likely be ground hits, so Terra Grass should help defensively with that. Final mon of the team is Tyranitar with the Terra Psychic. Now, this benefits a lot with DD, actually, and with Terra Psychic plus Psychic Terrain, we're really useful at breaking stuff like a Mungus, which would otherwise be a fairly good Tyranitar check, and it's one of the most common Pokemon in the format right now. Rock Blast is amazing as a spread option, Low Kick is great for stuff like Roaring Moon, and we have Crunch as well, which is great for stuff like different Ghost types, potentially Terra Ghost Flutter Mane. I've even seen Terra Ghost Bundle to get it on Fake Out, so it's really just great as an offensive option on Tyranitar. With the Adamant Nature, we're useful for that, and with the speed, we're able to under Tailwind outpace even Roaring Moon, which is incredible. I think the speed hits a little bit faster than that, though. Actually, no. I think it's for Adamant Roaring Moon. It did say in the notes, yeah, it's for Adamant Roaring Moon with our Tailwind up. So it's honestly incredible. With that said, that's going to be the team, and let's get right into the battles. Peace out, guys. Hey guys, it's Liv here, and today we're using a team that actually just won a major online tournament, and if you enjoy and want to see more, like and subscribe. And with that said, if we go 2-1 as always, just make sure you do leave a like on the video. It's always greatly appreciated. And let's get into the battles. So my opponent's team consists of Roaring Moon, Annihilate, Azumarill, Glimmora, Grimmsnarl, and Volcarona. So it looks like they have a screens team. My guess is Glimmora is here solely for Dozo matchups, so it's objectively not going to come against us. The reason being is they have team mons such as Annihilate and Azumarill here, both of which would definitely hate Dozo for sure. If I had to pick a lead here, well, it's actually tricky because I'm not entirely sure what I should be leading with this team. I did just grab this from a team actually that I saw online that looked pretty good, and I did revise a little bit of it, but I'm a little bit unsure. I'm not great with Talonflame, I found, but I still think actually Talonflame would be a pretty good lead choice here with Talonflame. Like Tyranitar could actually be decent. Actually, no, I'm gonna bench Tyranitar for. Well, no, I'm gonna bring Tyranitar. Spawn number 2. Actually, it's a pretty decent bulk check. I'm gonna bring Indeedee in the back, I think. Well, no, not Indeedee. I'm gonna bring Sandy Shocks. I'm gonna lead with that. I'm gonna bring Tyranitar. I'm gonna bring Flutter Mane, and I think that's gonna be my comp. I could have potentially also let off with Mouse. Mouse plus Flutter Mane could have been pretty decent here. I think that the issue is though, I'm expecting some sort of lead with like Grimmsnarl. And while Flutter Mane would be decent with Grim, the issue would be more so if I got Thunder Waved. I don't really want to get Thunder Waved, and having Sandy Shocks here at the very least should help with that. Not only this, but I could potentially go for a substitute on whatever leads. See, they're going to lead off with Glimmora, and they're going to lead off with Grimmsnarl. Okay, so they actually do lead off with the Glimmora, which is definitely interesting to say the least. We're going to boost our, I believe this is a special attack boost. Yep, special attack boost. Beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to proceed to go for a Tailwind here, and I'm going to go for a substitute. I'm anticipating Glimmora to just target Talonflame here. The reason being, of course, is because Talonflame could actually be an offensive threat to stuff like Volcarona late game, or even potentially to their Annihilate. Especially with the Terrestrial Flying, this could actually be a decent offensive monster for us. We're going to get the Tailwind up, though, and my opponent's going to probably go for, if I had to guess, a Light Screen, they're actually going to go for Thunder Wave. Thunder Wave was perfectly fine, actually. I don't mind Thunder Wave at all. We know this is Prankster now because it did outpace my Sandy Shocks. So we'll get the Thunder Wave off. And I'm curious about what Glimmora is going to do. I kind of do anticipate a Power Gem, but they're actually going to go for Earth Power. Okay. So Earth Power is pretty fair. What I'm going to manage to do here, I'm going to proceed to go for a... Do I care about T-Spikes this game? I don't really think I do. I'm going to proceed to go for a Brave Bird here. It should still be priority, actually. And then I'm going to proceed to go for the Terra Grass. And I'm going to go for one more substitute. If I get one more substitute up, then... well, if I can't keep a substitute after this turn, I should say, then I am going to proceed to go for just a raw attack. But with the Terra Grass, unless my opponent specifically predicts I'm going to go for Terra Grass this turn, they shouldn't actually break my sub, because I turned from a weakness to Earth Power to a resistance to Earth Power. So, really, the only attack they would click would be, that would actually hit me super effective, I should say, would be Sludge Wave or Sludge Bomb, which would in turn be resisted by pre-Terra Sandy Shocks. So I really don't anticipate that to happen. The Toxic Debris is going to pop, though, and that's perfectly fine. I don't really care about this, to be honest. Meanwhile, Grimm is going to go for Light Screen here, which is okay for me. This is still a 4x ground weak Pokemon, so I'm not as concerned about the Light Screen, in all honesty. Meanwhile, we have seen so far the Earth Power from Glimmora, and it's going to proceed to click Earth Power again. Beautiful. Okay. So this is okay. We do take the sub, and our sub is not broken. Beautiful. Okay. So I'm going to proceed to go for a Brave Bird here into Grimmsnarl. Meanwhile, I will go for an Earth Power into Glimmora. This Earth Power should, of course, take out Glamora pretty handily, so I'm not really concerned with this. The worst thing, yep, this is going to click Reflect here, which is perfectly fine. Grim really isn't a big threat. The issue with Grim this match is really just the fact that it enables other things to be threatening. We've cleared Glamora, though, which is huge for us. Obviously, the T-Spikes, they weren't really too bad, but it's still obviously a Pokemon that could be damning with its coverage set, with stuff like Sludge Wave and Earth Power being really good against this team. The Brave Bird does a shocking amount. Even through the Reflect, we do about a third, which is honestly incredible. Talonflame isn't something I'd think of as an offensive mon. This does lead me to believe, though, this is a Spit F Grimmsnarl. I would be genuinely shocked if it wasn't. I'm going to try and make the judgment without calcs today for all these videos. I'm bulk recording, as I'm recording all of our next, like, 5 or 6 videos before Orlando. And I want to get better about head calcs. It's something that I used to be pretty good with it, but I think I've definitely grown accustomed to just relying on calcs for everything. So I want to try and not do that for the next couple vids. So hopefully you guys understand. We're to Thunderbolt plus Brave Bird, though. This should take out Annihilate. I would be shocked if Annihilate takes this. Even still, it can only actually do damage to one of my Pokemon, so I'm pretty okay with that. I do anticipate Annihilate to Terrestrial here, yep, and to probably Fire if I had to guess. If it's going to go for like a Terra Steel, so be it. I'm anticipating Fire or Water, though. They're going to go for Fire, perfectly fine. While I could have clicked Earth Power into this spot, I think that the issue being, though, is if it's a pre-Terra Annihilate, I would have preferred Thunderbolt on it. But honestly, both attacks should do a strong amount of damage nonetheless. We'll get the Thunderbolt off. Yeah, it already does like 40%. This is beautiful. Talonflame gets paralyzed. Honestly, this might be for the best. We're boosting Rage Fist less, and I can just go for any sort of Earth Power into this spot anyway next turn. Sub will break here, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. We could still just go for an Earth Power on the following turn and be fine. Meanwhile, Talonflame is going to take a foul play, and this should knock us out, which again, works out pretty well for us in my opinion, because Sandy Shock should still outpace everything. The one issue will be, though, is that Grimmsnarl can now actually go for the Thunder Wave on us. However, I still have Tyranitar in the back, and with Tyranitar, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to set the Sand up. This is mostly just to try and draw in Annihilate to attack Tyranitar, because I won't actually need a Tyranitar against anything else on this team. We're going to go for Rock Slide here, and I'm going to proceed to go for a Earth Power. Now, if they do decide to go for Thunder Wave into me, that's fine. This means they're only attacking with a single Pokemon here, which truthfully is the best thing I can hope for. Meanwhile, if they let Tyranitar roam free and click a Rock Slide, I'm pretty okay with this. They're going to actually Brick Break Tyranitar instead, which, see, this works out really well, because now Annihilate should be trading with us. We've already seen that Annihilate takes 40% from a Thunderbolt, so Earth Power should just outright KO. Beautiful. I'm perfectly okay with that trade, because Fluttermane is the mon I really care about in the back. And while Fluttermane will be susceptible to a Thunder Wave at this point from Grimmsnarl, it's Grimmsnarl plus Filler against my Sandy Shocks plus Fluttermane. And depending on what that Pokemon is, this could actually be bad for my opponent. For example, Azumarill would get completely massacred by Sandy Shock's Thunderbolt. And not only this, so they're going to have Roaring Moon, actually. Roaring Moon is fine. We're going to probably see a Boost Energy pop from this, which I'm okay with that. We're Specs Fluttermane, so I'm not too concerned. What are they going to be? Let's see. So they're Boost Energy. Yep, okay, that's fine. This is going to proceed to activate, and it's going to be Attack. So it's an attack set. Okay, that's fine. We're going to proceed to go for a Dazzling Gleam. I know Ayoko Roaring Moon with this. And then I'm just going to go for Earth Power and a Roaring Moon just in case. Purely just in case I get parried and die, but I'm not really too concerned here. The one thing that they're going to probably target is Fluttermane this turn, and I can't really do anything about that. However, at the same time, going for a Substitute, I don't think it'll benefit me a ton, because realistically, they just go for Acrobatics on the following turn, and I'm just in this situation, but with lower health. They're actually not going to go for a Thunder Wave here. Genuinely unsure why, because the Thunder Wave won them the game. Like, I don't think that they realized, but it, objectively speaking, won them the game. They lost because they didn't click Thunder Wave there, and I'm not sure why they did it. I can't even fathom why they did it. For what it's worth, okay, so I can kind of think of a reason why, but it's a little bit dumb. If they missed a Thunder Wave there, they actually did also lose. So maybe they just were trying to go for dual attack and hope that I wasn't dual targeting. That's really the only thing I could think of. But even still, I can't think of a good reason, and I still don't think that's a good reason because it was objectively their way to win. With that said, though, I'll see you guys in game number 2. Peace out, guys. Okay, so moving on to game number 2, we're taking on a team consisting of, oh shit, this is the team that won Hatterene series recently. I remember seeing this one. Okay, so it's Iron Bundle, Baxcalibur, Fluttermane, Iron Hands, Arcanine, and Garganacl. Okay, so this is interesting because we now have a team that won a tournament versus a team that won a tournament. So these are both objectively teams that have done really well in high performance. That is a Focus Sash Flutterman, I know that for a fact. I would need to pull up the rest of the team though, to be honest, which I could in theory do. This would be good practice actually for open sheet. So I'm going to do it. I will do that because objectively speaking, why not? Let's see. So Hatterene Series Championship team, here we go. Beautiful, okay. So, that is a Booster Energy bundle, Focus Sash Fluttermane, Loaded Dice Backs, AV Hands, Terra Grass, Arcanine Citrus, Garganacl, Terra Ghost Left. Okay, easy enough, easy enough. I'm going to proceed to lead off with Fluttermane Maushold. I think this should be a decent lead. I'm going to bring Sandy Shocks in the back. Sandy Shocks should be decent offensively, nothing else. Good for breaking stuff like hands if it doesn't Terra. And then I think Mon number 4 will be Talonflame. Actually, I think it's actually going to be... It's going to be Talonflame, yeah. I think Talonflame will do decent here. And it could be a good... Actually... No, I'm going to lead off with the same lead I led off with last time. Because I think, objectively speaking, that the Talonflame being a good option to get around stuff like Booster Energy Bundle will be useful. And I might even just go for Terra Flying, just to nail it. There's also a world where I just click Tailwind turn 1 if they don't lead off with specifically Bundle Fluttermane. That's really the only case where I'd actually make that lead, in my opinion. But regardless, though, good luck and fun to my opponent. I'm curious if they're going to proceed to lead off with Bundle Hands or Bundle Fluttermane. They're going to lead off with Bundle Hands. Okay. So this is interesting as well, but this means that they're probably going to go for Icy Wind plus Fake Out on this turn, and they're going to probably Fake Out the Talonflame. They might also, if they know the team, they might Fake Out the Hands. Well, they're probably going to Fake Out they're probably going to Fake Out Talonflame, what am I saying? I just go for Dual Protect here, every time. Dual Protect should give me the best chance at beating this team in general, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go for Protect here, and I'm going to go for Protect here. Let's see, so they are 252 Timid on... Bundle. I'm kind of curious. Do we actually outpace that? Oh, I think we just missed out on outpacing that. Oh, it's so sad. If only, the worst part is too, is that if I kept the team they brought to the original tournament, I did tweak it actually, spoiler alert, and I'll mention this in the builder, but I tweaked it to the notes the creator actually had for the team. So, sadly, Bundle actually does outpace us because of that Booster Energy. It literally just barely outpaces us because of the fact that we are modest, and it's the only reason that it outpaces. Yeah. No, that Bundle objectively outpaces by 3 points. Oh, that's so annoying. Okay, so what I need to do then is Talonflame with Life Orb KO. Talonflame with a Life Orb and Terra Flying. Terrestrial Flying. It can roll. It can roll, and you know what? I'm going to get a little cheeky here, and I'm going to try and bank on the roll. Because I don't think I actually have a better play than this, I'm going to be honest. In theory, I have other ways that I can go about doing this sequence, but I think this is the best one for me. Because if I can KO the bundle here, that's great. And worst case scenario, Talon just dies, and I'm fine with it too because I bring in Fluttermane, and then I just go for Gleam next turn. So I'm actually still okay with this. This sequence of play should still be beneficial. The one thing I'm a little bit upset about is the fact that I can't boost my Sandy Shocks any further with the Booster Energy, but I'm still fine with this actually because Sandy Shocks should do so much damage to this team. I'm not really too worried. They're going to go for Protect and Bundle. A little bit annoying there, but honestly, it's understandable. Let's see. And what is my opponent going to proceed to do? They're probably going to attack Talonflame, if I had to guess. Yep, Thunder Punch to Talonflame. This is really bad, actually, because I've now lost my priority. However, what I can proceed to do, I can go for a Follow Me here. And then I'm going to go for a Tailwind, because I do need the Tailwind up urgently. So I'm going to go for the Tailwind here, and then I'll Brave Bird on the following turn. For what it's worth, I probably should have clicked Tailwind into Brave Bird, but having the priority there was still useful, and I could have gotten it up most likely against whatever came in next. So Tailwind is going to go off, that's fine. We are going to lose the Talonflame, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it should still not be a big deal. What we're going to do, we're going to proceed to bring in Fluttermane, because Fluttermane should be a really good way to break this combination. They're going to kill Maushold. Okay. So, essentially what I need to do here, let's see, Fluttermane, Specs set. So, Specs Gleam can roll the KO. I kind of just need to bank on that. I'm going to bank on the Specs Gleam KOing. Or maybe that this person changed the team and that they're modest. That's another thing I could bank on in theory, but it's not looking good. It is not looking good at all. I might just lose the lead, to be honest. The worst part is, too, is if I clicked the Terrestrial here, I actually could have been fine. But we're going to go for Earth Power. Am I? I think I kind of do need to go for Earth Power. Realistically, what's going to probably happen here is Bundle's going to go for Icy Wind, which is fine. It doesn't really KO either Pokemon, thankfully. So, we're going to get that Gleam off, and we're just going to hope. We're going to have to see essentially what Pokemon that my opponent decides to take out here. Okay, beautiful. Bundle is gone at least. That is huge for us. That is objectively huge for us. And then, yeah, despite Fluttermane obviously having lost the speed. Ugh, okay, fuck. We didn't KO. It's one of those situations where the boost energy actually does matter a lot. I don't have a way that I can win this. Because realistically, the mon that probably ended up coming is Fluttermane. Fluttermane almost certainly came. And Garganacl actually is coming on the field. Okay, so for Garganacl, that's a little bit different. I could actually, in theory, take this out. But the issue is, though, is if they click Terrestrial Ghost here, I can't kill Garganacl, objectively speaking. Which they're probably going to click Terrestrial Ghost plus Salt Cure here. Meanwhile, the Iron Hands is going to let me take it out, which is fine. I mean, that's something for us at least. Yep, they're going to Terrestrial Ghost Garganacl. Okay, so the issue here is that I can't KO this mon. I don't even think I can 2-hit KO it because I don't have the boost energy, which is a problem because it could just recover through plus Salt Cure. Let's see. Versus a Garganacl. This is Spadef Garganacl, and with Terra Ghost? Oh, yeah, we do nothing. Even Specs would have not 2-hit KO'd. Okay, so Garganacl is just a cunt. Yeah, no, 48.5% max from Specs. Sandy Shocks with the Terra Ghost. Oh my god. Ugh, this mon is so vile. I remember when I said I thought this mon was going to be really dog shit and competitive. Oh, I can't believe I ever had that take. I'm never going to live that down, to be honest. It's not a problem, though. While we cannot KO Garganacl, what I am going to do, I'm going to KO the Arcanine. I'm going to KO the Arcanine because I can. Because I think I can at least KO that mon. But fuck, man. Garganacl's actually, like, this mon is actually really gross. It's only because of Terra that this mon is gross. I'll die on that hill. But it is gross because of Terra. This Terra really does make this thing really fucking good. On the bright side, though, Arcanine should just drop to this Earth Power. Actually, no, it doesn't even die. What the fuck? Yeah, no, 44? 44? Jolly. Okay, so I could roll it. I'm gonna get the damage roll, though. I'm just gonna get it. Flare Blitz? Oh, this mon's outpacing, right, because Tailwind's not up. Alright, well, that's game. Oh, well, you know what? Yeah, this is just objectively game. Alright, well, you know what? We're 1-1. I'll take that. We're gonna get into game number 3, though, so hopefully we can pull out a win here. I'll see you guys then. Peace out, guys. Okay, so moving on to our final game of the day, we're taking on a team consisting of Roaring Moon, Goldengo, Iron Hands, Iron Bundle, Arcanine, and a Moongus. Okay, so looking at this, realistically, I think that my lead, I feel like the Maushold could be a decent lead here, especially with the potential for Terra Ghost. That might be not bad. I don't know if I'm gonna really Terra it, though, this game. I feel like Terra is not that great with my team. I could lead off with, I feel like there's merit in leading off with, I'm trying to actually think what I want to do. Because there's a few different things that I have. They could lead off with Roaring Moon plus Bundle. That's really terrifying. They could lead off with Goldengo plus Moon, which I think Goldengo plus Moon would really be only if they're anticipating an offensive lead and they're going to Tailwind on Roaring Moon and then make it rain. And that could be terrifying. Hands Bundle obviously is objectively good. Arcanine could also be kind of scary here, but more so just to try and... More so just if I was trying to lead Tyranitar to counter a lot of those leads, it could be terrifying to burn it. I'm going to lead off with Mouse, and I'm going to lead off with Fluttermane. I think that should be a fine lead. I'm going to bring Sandy Shocks in the back, and I think I am going to bring Tyranitar, because Terra Tyranitar could actually be a good lure for Goldengo, potentially. So I'm going to try and bank on that. It also does get rid of my weaknesses to stuff like Bundle, for example, and I could Rock Slide that down, which could be pretty good for me. So I think that's what I'm going to go for, and I do need to get a little bit lucky with my positioning here, but Terra Tyranitar could actually put in a ton of work here. The Terra Psychic would be great for a Moongus. Rock Slide's great against a lot of this team, depending on Terras. They're going to lead off with Bundle Hands. Okay, this is fine. I'm actually really okay with this, because what I could potentially end up going for, I'm going to proceed to go for a Follow Me here. Actually, no, I'm going to go for a Helping Hand, because Fluttermane can't actually get Fake Outed, and I'm going to go for Gleam. If they try and Fake Out my Mouse, I'm okay with that. My Fluttermane also should be just generally bulkier, and this will make up for the difference by not clicking Terrestrial here, because that means that if they're not Focus Sash and Bundle, which I think they are, I'm almost certain they are, solely for the fact they didn't activate a booster energy here. So I'm assuming Focus Sash, which is fine. We can bring it down to Sash, and that's okay, because I can Feint it next turn, which Feint will get through the Protect. Well, they go for Protect anyway this turn. I'm also okay with that. Gleam is going to go off, and this should still do substantial damage to hands. In fact, on the following turn, I can proceed to go for Feint plus a Dazzling Gleam, and that should KO the Bundle as well. Okay, so I'm okay with that. Yeah, we'll go for Terra Fairy just to make the damage difference. Albeit we won't KO. Actually, I think it'd be worth it just to go for the Helping Hand again and then go for Terra Fairy. We'll KO the hands that way, and I think that'll ultimately lead to a better result here. Despite the fact that obviously the Fluttermane and the Iron Bundle will be living at a Focus Sash, I think KOing hands will be long-term better. So I think I'm gonna manage to do that. Terra Fairy is still really good, even though obviously I do benefit a lot from Terra Tyranitar. I think that I need the Terra Fairy because it's gonna put me up so much on the early game here. So we're gonna go for the Helping Hand plus the Terra Fairy, and we're gonna see if this can KO. This is definitely an AV hands, so if they do Terrastal, that could be pretty bad. But at the same time, do they anticipate? They do not anticipate it. Okay, so Terrastal with the Helping Hand boost. This should KO. Pump is gonna go off. That doesn't do a lot of damage, thankfully, and thankfully as well, they didn't go for Icy Wind, which is really huge because my Fluttermane is now gonna keep its speed. I can feint into the bundle next turn and get around that Protect, and I can go for the Specs Terra Fairy Gleam, and this should be amazing against anything besides Gholdengo that comes in next. So we've cleared Iron Hands, thankfully. That is huge for us. The Helping Hand boost really does make a huge difference, I can't lie. Because the Helping Hand essentially just guaranteed that we were able to take that out. That was a little bit bulkier than standard hands for what it's worth, but it was still obviously fairly bulky nonetheless. We have KO'd the Iron Hands though, which is huge. This does open up Tyranitar a ton in late game. And honestly, with hands gone, I'm not even worried about having to Terrastal Tyranitar. The one exception I guess would be Gholdengo, but even still, it's not a big concern. Okay, so I'm going to switch out here, but I'm going to go for a Feint first to kill the bundle. And then I'm going to proceed to go into Tyranitar here. Tyranitar should be a decent sponge. While I do anticipate they're going to click the Make It Rain here, I'm okay with that because we are still Assault Vest and we should still take this hit fairly well. I anticipate that they're going to go for it to KO the Mouse, which in tandem with the Friend Guard from Mouse as well, we're going to be okay. I don't anticipate Tyranitar to have any trouble taking this hit. It's probably going to be a 3-hit KO. So between that and then the Specs Fluttermane coming in on the following turn to Shadow Ball, Gholdengo should be finished. I'm not at all concerned with this Pokemon. I cannot see a way that it actually can win the game for them. However, there's still a concern about Roaring Moon potentially. Roaring Moon could be scary as well as Amogus. If Arcanine comes in, it's the best case scenario. Because Arcanine can't actually beat my team, it objectively would lose my last months. However, with the potential for... So they're going to Terrastal here, that's fine. As long as they don't go Terra Ghost on Bundle, I'm okay with that. They do not go Terra Ghost on Bundle, perfect. Terra Steel, I'm still fine with this actually, because they're going to probably go for Protect to try and Preserve. Meanwhile, my Maushold is Feint specifically for this scenario. So, they actually don't go for Protect. I'm still fine with that, because it still is +3 priority. And all I really cared about is just KOing this Pokemon. So, Bundle is gone. That is huge for us. Gholdengo is Terra Steel, Make It Rain. That's fine. Okay. So, this actually does still 3-hit KO, which is amazing for us. I'm curious if this is Life Orb or not. This does not... Oh, this is Life Orb. Okay. Life Orb. Okay. So at the very least, we can bring in Sandy Shocks here. I'm going to do that first, just specifically so I don't have to lock into a move that I would regret later. They're going to bring in Roaring Moon now. I'm perfectly okay with this. What I'm going to do, I'm going to proceed to go for a Protect on Sandy Shocks. They're going to be Photosynthesis. That's fine. Boost energy isn't really a huge concern here. They're actually... Oh, they're speed boosting, actually. That could be a little scary, but they didn't burn their... The speed boost is what will actually make this terrifying, I can't lie. I'm going to proceed to go for Earth Power here. And then I'm going to go for a... I'm going to proceed to go for a low kick into Roaring Moon. I don't think Roaring Moon can KO me. They would specifically need to dual target into Tyranitar if I had to guess, because they're not attack boosting. Now, if they're Stomping Tantrum, that'll also be a little scary. And specifically, the worst play that could go off here would be Stomping Tantrum into Tyranitar, plus a Protect on Gholdengo. But my Sandy Shocks doesn't really damage Moon that well anyway, so I don't really think I have a better play. They're going to Protect on Moon, actually, which truthfully is like the best thing that could happen here. Because burning with Protect on Moon is really good for me, and I can take out Gholdengo, and now it's a 3v1, which, if they're not Earthquake, they don't really have any out to be honest. So truthfully, this worked out as well as it could have, to be honest. Roaring Moon, I'm kind of curious. Let's see. So they are at least 220. Well, at best, they're 220 attack. Well, I guess technically 224, but it doesn't really make a difference, to be honest. I'm kind of curious. So Stomping Tantrum does not KO, actually. Yeah, guaranteed cannot KO. We're going to go for Earth Power here, and I'm going to go for a low kick here. And that should take this mon out, guaranteed. They're probably going to forfeit, to be honest. Battle was canceled. Beautiful. Okay. So this ended up working out well for us. We ended up going 2-1, which means, of course, as promised at the beginning of the video, you do have to like the video and subscribe for more content, as is. Shout out to our channel members, of course. We have a lot of channel members currently for this month, being Josh Gale Ultra Player, Mia, Zeke0, Mato Shay, Nox Nocturnal, and Koemi. Your guys' support is greatly appreciated. And if you want to join the ranks of, and Slade. I forgot about Slade. Koemi did just re-enable channel memberships though, so shout outs to Koemi. Welcome back for rejoining. If you want to join the channel members today, it's only a couple dollars a month and you get bonus videos every week. This week's video in particular, I'm not really sure what we're going to do, but the following week will be a team review for our entire team that we're bringing to Orlando Regionals. So if you are interested in seeing that, it's going to be a very thorough breakdown on everything that went into my head preparing for this. So of course, make sure to join the channel members for February. It should be a good ride. And I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Until then, peace out, guys.